Hello everybody, this is Starman, and welcome to the first chapter of Quest for Glory 1, So You Want to Be a Hero. Now, the Quest for Glory series was one of my favorite game series growing up. It represented a unique hybrid of role-playing game and adventure game that has never really been attempted by any other franchise, and there hasn't been any game like it in the past 30 years. And since, as I record this, is the 30th anniversary of the very first Quest for Glory game, I've decided to go ahead and play through the whole series. And the question of how to play through it came up, because one of the unique things about Quest for Glory is that it was 3, and in the later games, 4 games in one, because you could play through the game as a fighter, a wizard, a thief, and if you took the right pathways in the second and third games, you could become a paladin, which was basically the same as fighter, except you got a few more quests and a few more options and some spellcasting ability based around the fact that you are virtuous and noble and good. So I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do a playthrough of the thief side of the game, because I am somewhat well known for playing roguish characters in my role-playing games, and I think the thief pathway through the game actually gives you the most interesting path. I mean, they're all fun and they're all interesting, but the way that they're actually described in the game is that the fighter, you take the direct path to solve all your problems. You know, you charge in, you kill the monster, that's it. The wizard, you solve your problems indirectly. You use your magic to move around the obstacles, you know, find ways to figure out the enemy's weakness, use your spells to counter it, and so forth. The thief, you avoid the problems altogether, stab them in the back, sneak around them, and just generally avoid conflict whenever possible. And take everything that isn't nailed down. But I am playing the good old games version of, actually this is the Steam version, forgive me, this is the Steam version of the entire Quest for Glory collection, all 5 games in one package. And actually I should say all 6 games, because the very first game was released back in the EGA 16 colors only days, and then they released a VGA version of it years later, which had 256 colors. Ooh. And it also had a point-and-click, no text parser interface. But we're going to go ahead and play the VGA version. And this will open up with a little warning. The software you are now using was produced through the efforts of many people, designers, artists, programmers, musicians, and lots of other hard-working folks. If you make copies of this software for any reason other than to make a personal backup, you are not only breaking the law, but raising the cost of software for all legitimate users. Please do not make illegal copies of this game. Oh, and by the way, you will need the information contained in the printed documentation to successfully complete this game. In other words, it's not just the law, it's a good idea. And here we have the 90s Sierra logo and introductory music. And I'm getting a lot of nostalgia here in this, let me tell you. Alright, so we do have an introduction, which really just shows you the creators' names. And the original games, you actually, or the first 2, you got some funny comments if you right-clicked on the opening screen. No such trick this time, but let's go ahead and watch the introduction. And respect the people who made this game for us. Ken Williams, the head honcho. Got the classic Quest for Glory theme here. Yes, Lorianne Cole and Corey Cole, another great husband and wife design team. Corey mostly handled the programming end of things. Lori did a lot of the puzzle and character design, if I remember correctly. And they both co-produced the first four games together. The fifth one, Corey came on as a programmer, but Lori handled all the design elements. And here we go, the character select screen. And I did not mean to click that. I thought right-clicking gave me some options. So yes, I would like to choose the character type. And neat thing is, at least in the first game, you could invest your starting points into acquiring skills that are unique to the other classes. For instance, fighters are typically the only ones who get the parry skill because you're fighting with a sword, you need to be able to parry. Everybody else just depends on dodging. Wizards, naturally, are the only ones who get the magic skill. And typically, everybody except the thief does not get the stealth, picklock, or throwing skill. You can take climbing, and in fact, in the fourth game, if you're a fighter and you haven't developed climbing skill yet, they give you the opportunity to do that. We will go ahead and take Matt for my name. 2 T's. And obviously, being a thief, agility is going to be your most important skill, which is why you start off with it highest. We are going to go ahead and put some points into dodge, because even though we won't be doing much fighting, when we do get stuck in a fight, we will want to be able to dodge. Vitality, I'm going to put 15 points into, because we do want our hit points. Luck, go ahead and raise that up to 20. Go ahead and give ourselves a little more weapon use. And we'll put 5 more into throwing and 5 into climbing, even though we will be able to boost those pretty quickly and pretty easily. So the plot of So You Want to Be a Hero, the first game, even though this does get made apparent pretty early on getting started, is that you are a newbie adventurer who has just graduated from the famous Adventurer Correspondence School, and you have made your way to the town of Spielberg. Yes, we all get the clever joke there. But for those of you who know your German, Spielberg actually means game town, so this was not just a clever nod to a famous director, although the Baron of the land is named Stefan von Spielberg. But you've come to save the barony and prove that you are a honest-to-goodness hero. So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and start. And hey, we get 1 point just for getting into the village and setting our character up. This seems like a quiet little town. Little town, it's a quiet village. On the porch ahead of you are 2 people. The standing one is large, rather ugly, and playing with a yo-yo. The seated person smoking a pipe looks like he might be the sheriff. The man with the pipe greets you. Welcome to our town. You're lucky to have made it down from the mountains before the snow blocked the pass again. It's gotten pretty dangerous outside of town, I understand. Many monsters have been trapped around here with the late snow. Between them and the brigands, we certainly could use a hero down here. I am Sheriff Schultz Meisterson. This is Otto von Goon, my assistant. Good luck in your quest. And we have several icons. We have the eye, which lets us look at things. The sign here reads Hero Tails End. We can click the walk icon to move around. The hands icon to touch things or pick things up. The mouth for talking to things or trying to put our lips on stuff. You get no response. And if we had magic ability, that would be here under the star. But this little swirl gives us the options of running, sneaking, resting, checking our character sheet, and just waiting. We'll go ahead and move to sneak mode. And I'm going to go ahead and save here before I do something really stupid. And yeah, the little satchel here for your inventory. So right now I have 4 gold and 10 silver, so effectively 50 silver. 5 days worth of rations, a leather jerkin, a single dagger, and a lockpick. Now what's the stupid thing I'm going to do? Criminal stupidity. They say the cops don't catch any rocket scientists. Well, they sure didn't this time. So, yeah. Like many of the classic Sierra games, you can die suddenly and stupidly in this game. So, yeah, showing that you have a lockpick and are a thief to the town sheriff, stupid thing. And while you will not die, well, it's hard to be a hero when you are in the Hooskow. And we get no response from Otto. There's more of a hint of ogre about this strange and bulky character. He seems cheerful, though. Schultz appears to be an affable old coot, content to smoke his pipe. There's a hidiness behind his eyes, however, that gives you reason to believe that he's no pushover. And we can look at the various things here. The ugly statue seems to be watching you. There's a sign on the door of the barber shop, out to lunch. I'm just looking at the statue. The handsome statue seems to be watching you. If this is the town water supply, no wonder nobody ever comes here. You see a cheery, inviting glow of a hearth fire within the inn. The windows glow from the light inside. The sign reads Hero's Tale Inn. Unhand that sheriff! And yes, half the fun of this is that you can try silly things and he's had a bit of fun with that old school yo-yo there. And we get a point just for talking to the sheriff. So we'll ask him about his name. And we got that already. Ask about Otto. Otto is a big help to me. He's very smart for a goon. His prisoners only suffer a few broken bones when he grabs them. It took a bit of doing to teach him to bring prisoners back alive, but he hardly ever forgets now. One more incentive not to get caught. Prisoners. It's simple. When somebody breaks the law, we catch them and we hold them prisoner. Okay, so we will ask about the mountain. You should know. You came down from there. Town. This town was named after the barons of Spielberg. It used to be a lively place to be before the brigands came and drove all the business away. You can find a place to stay at the inn next door. You can learn about all the jobs available at the guild hall down the street. If you're interested in magic, you should visit the magic shop. There is still plenty to do and see here in Spielberg. Well, I'll ask about the baron. Baron Stefan keeps mostly to himself at the castle north of here. We haven't seen him in town for many years. Let's ask about magic. Jack's next to the inn is a small magic shop. The owner, Zara, will let you in if you have some abilities in that area. She's a strange one, all right. The inn. Go talk to the innkeeper. He will help you there. Guild hall. The guild hall is at the southwest corner of town. If you're looking for work, that's a good place to go. And ask me to whom are you trying to speak. You click directly on yourself. Overworked, underpaid, no control over my own life. And ask about monsters. The monsters come down from the mountains every winter, but they're usually gone by now. The Baron just doesn't have enough men to handle them. Wolfgang is the one to talk to about monsters. He's had a lot of experience with them. And Wolfgang down at the guild hall is the one to talk to about monsters. He's had a lot of experience with them. And the guild hall, southwest corner of town, that's a good place. If you're looking for work, that's a good place to go. Yeah, this will get a little bit repetitive, but we'll ask about the brigands. There's a whole band of brigands hiding out somewhere in the mountains around us. They robbed a merchant just last week. Got a fair amount of treasure, I hear. Alright, we'll ask about the merchant. The one who was robbed, he's staying at the inn, I believe. The inn? Go talk to the innkeeper. He will help you. Yes, we got that treasure. Obtaining treasure involves putting yourself in danger. If you're brave, foolish, or lucky, you might get some treasure. Danger? My friend, this world is filled with danger. Sometimes I think it might be better to choose your danger rather than sitting around waiting for it, as I seem to do. But enough of these philosophical rambling. I am content to be the sheriff of Spielberg. Okay, well, we had one more adventure. We'll have to talk to the Baron about that, or ask Wolfgang down at the guild hall, which is just down the street. So maybe you're going to be a hero? We could show you one, but if all of the brigands. And we asked about the Baron, got that. Wolfgang, got that. Guild hall asked about that. And the brigands. So, not much use, but we did get a bit of information from him. And he will say nothing about us suspiciously sauntering off. There's no getting around it. A shop with an eye on you makes you nervous. She's the only sane person here. At least she's not off her rocker. And judging by what this sign says, the building at the end of the street is the guild hall. Now we'll go ahead and stop in the magic shop, even though us not being a magic user, there's not a lot here for us. You see a wide variety of arcane objects. For example, scrolls covered with mysterious symbols and arcane incantations. A toaster oven. Very rarely used. Electricity hasn't been invented yet. Crystal balls. Useful only to those initiated into the ways of witches. There are a few Dead Sea Scrolls, a couple of Red Sea Scrolls, a C++ scroll, written in assembly language, and others even more esoteric. Bottles of mephitic potions. These tiles are totally unfamiliar to you. The books dealing with sorcery, necromancy, and other occult subjects. An ancient balance scales are things that will help her maintain a sense of balance. The burning incense fills the room with a strange fiery scent. It looks like a sculpture of some weird bat-winged creature. And books dealing with necromancy. Dried manta jerky. And yeah, a hooded robe for when it rains in here. Tinsel and chaff, very good for avoiding radar. And I think that is a repeat, so we'll go ahead and walk to the center of the room. And yeah, that weird bat monkey thing is Zara's familiar. I am Zara, and my companion is Damiano. The items in the shop are designated for those skilled in the use of magic. Well, we get a point for talking to her, at least. I am both human and fairy folk. I draw my power from both. My name is Zara. This is my shop. Fairy folk. We are a people of power and magic and live in the forest far beyond the mountains to the west. Power is the essence of magic, that which the wizard shapes and is shaped by. Damiano is both my familiar and my friend. We share our lives and our magic. Familiar? A familiar is a creature of magical abilities who has been summoned to serve the wizard. Whoop. The summoning of a familiar is a most powerful spell, and can be cast but once. It binds the wizard and the familiar to the end of their lives. The more powerful the wizard, the more powerful the familiar, although you cannot always judge power by a familiar's shape. If you have the skill of magic, you can learn the way to cast spells by reading magic scrolls. Without the skill, you have no power. The more you practice spellcasting, the greater you shall become. Initiation. When you have mastered 9 spells, have the power to cast all, and proven yourself worthy by accomplishing a great deed, then you must undergo the initiation to become a full wizard. There is a place distant south where you must journey, but first you must become a hero here. And yes, if you are a wizard, or a magic user rather, the second game you do get the chance to take the initiation to become a full wizard. And wizard. A wizard is one who both shapes magic and is shaped by it. Erasmus and I are the only wizards in this valley. And it's about Erasmus. Erasmus is a wizard and a spellcaster who knows much about this area. He lives in a tower northeast of town at the top of a steep mountain called Zauberberg. He can be very helpful if approached properly, but he has a strange sense of humor. About Power Potion. The Power Potion restores your magical energy and costs 75 silver. Journey. There are many entrances to the Halls of Magic Mastery in the south. After you've gained skill and a good reputation in magic, you should journey south. If you are indeed worthy of being a wizard, you will find a way to those halls. And Hero. Master the arts arcane, use those skills to vanquish the evil curse, and you will become a true hero. Well, I'm not a master of magic, but Spielberg. There is much magic in this world for those who know how to use it. There is magic in this little town, and a good deal of magic in this valley. Well, ask about the town. There is an aura protecting this town from danger. Within most of its walls there can be no act of violence or cruel magic. Even so, it is prudent to avoid the dark places. And aura. An aura is a spell protection surrounding something. The town is still protected by the aura cast by the great spellcaster Irana. Ask about Irana. Irana was a powerful spellcaster who lived long ago. She brought peace to this valley. Even now her spell protects this town from violence or foul magic. Her final resting place is due north of town, and is a place of both safety and healing. It is known as Irana's Peace, or Irana's Peace. I forget how you pronounce it. Irana's a powerful spellcaster. Yes, I thought she was going to tell us about the peace. The valley. There's much power in this valley, and it attracts those who use magic. I am here, Erasmus has his house on Zauberberg, and even Baba Yaga has her hut cooped up around here somewhere. Yeah, Baba Yaga? She is a powerful and wicked hag. You would be wise to avoid her. She cursed the Baron von Spielberg when he tried to drive her away. That's about the hut. Baba Yaga's hut is magical. It stands on chicken legs, and you must know the rhyme to enter. The rhyme? I have no interest in entering Baba Yaga's hut, and therefore do not know the rhyme. This is Baba Yaga's curse cast upon the Baron years ago. Upon von Spielberg and all his clan, this the curse I now demand. What I will shall come full measure, so shall ye lose all that ye treasure. There is always a way to break a curse. Possibly Erasmus knows more about this. And can we ask for more about the curse? Erasmus makes a point of studying the effects of magic on mortals. There's little about magic in this area that Erasmus does not know. So that would be the hint to go bother him about this. He was once a great leader of this land, the Baron, until he was foolish enough to anger Baba Yaga. Okay, well that covers everything that we can get from her, although we can buy some magic items here. We can get a couple spells, a healing potion, power potion, and a vigor potion. We'll go ahead and buy a vigor potion. May this aid you upon your quest. So yes, we can buy potions here, but there's also a healer who is a much better source of this sort of thing for a non-wizard. So let's go check out the Adventurers Guild Hall. This Adventurers Guild Hall reminds you of the one in your hometown. The traditional moosehead and other stuffed monsters, Saurus, Troll, Griffin, Dragon, Cheetar, and the terrible Antwerp adorn the walls. You see a registration book on the table, and the bulletin board full of job listings. The man seated near the window must be the guildmaster. He is snoring. Pile of wood is stacked against the wall. The firewood will serve more purpose here than in your pack. Well, I want to throw more another log on the fire. The fire blazing cheerily in the fireplace helps warm the guild master's old bones. You feel like not frying your fingers. Forget it. That certainly is a weird one. You've never seen anything quite like it. The plaque reads, Antwerp, slain by two guys from Andromeda. This would be a quick nod to the Space Quest game series, where the two guys from Andromeda are the galaxy's most famous game designers. The head is like a panther's, but with a strong human-like quality. It is still rather frightening. The plaque reads, Cheetar, slain by Wolfgang Abentur. Even in death, this monster remains awesome. The plaque reads, Dragon, slain by Baron Stefan von Spielberg. It looks like it must have been a particularly nasty troll. You wouldn't want to meet him in a dark forest. The plaque reads, Troll, slain by Wolfgang Abentur. This crossbreed of eagle and lion could have torn a man apart while it was alive. The plaque reads, Griffin, slain by Wolfgang Abentur. The plaque under the moose says, Courtesy of the Sierra Online Prop Department. You never saw a purple Saurus before you came to Spielberg, but it looks like a really stupid monster. And it looks greenish from here. The plaque reads, Saurus, slain by Hans Halfwitten. This tapestry is so rotten it will probably fall apart at the slightest touch. A past adventurer's armor suit. You wonder why he doesn't need it anymore. Then you see the Cheetar claw marks. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the bulletin board. And we get 6 points just for that. Reward for return of a lost ring. Inquire at the healers. This poster is rather dusty and faded. The picture is of a small child with braids. Reward of 50 gold coins for the safe return of Ilsa von Spielberg. Inquire at Spielberg Castle gates. Reward of 30 gold coins for the capture or death of the Brigand Warlock. Description: short, ugly, wears brightly colored robes. Has habit of laughing continually. Inquire at Spielberg Castle gates. Notice: spell components needed. Cash or trade for potions. Inquire at the healers. Wanted: Brigand leader. Description: unknown appearance. Wears a cloak. Must provide proof of leader's identity. Reward of 60 gold coins and title Hero of the Realm. Inquire at the Spielberg Castle gates. This poster seems to have been here a while. It's a picture of a handsome but arrogant young man. Reward of 50 gold coins for information leading to the return of Bernard von Spielberg. Inquire at the Spielberg Castle gates. So, Missing son, missing daughter, bandit warlock, bandit leader, and 2 quests for the healer. 4 points just for reading the book. This entry was made several years ago. It says, Baronet Barnard von Spielberg. Why do I keep saying Spielberg? Spielberg killed a troll near the Flying Falls on this 23rd day of October. The upper pages record the exploits of the great adventurers of Spielberg's past. The names Wolfgang Abenteuer and Baron Stefan von Spielberg appear most often. The remaining pages are blank, awaiting further tales of adventure. Well, you sign your name into the adventurer's logbook with a flourish. I get 1 point for that, and the remaining pages are blank. Yeah, typically will let you see your name in there. Looks like this old guildmaster doesn't do much adventuring anymore. Still, he looks like he was plenty tough in his day, and he probably has many a tale to tell. He appears to be hard of hearing. Maybe you should get closer. Yeah, typically getting to where he's within snoring range is enough, but... Yes, I was saying, where were they? And get a point so I can ask him his name. I'm Wolfgang Abenteuer, the guildmaster of this hall. That's my guildmaster. I'm supposed to keep track of all the adventurers and make sure they sign their names in the log. There was a time when I would go out and rescue foolhardy adventurers who got into too much trouble, but I don't get out much now. Guild Hall. This is where an adventurer can find out who needs someone brave and courageous. So many jobs on the bulletin board over there. There's also a good place to talk about adventures on a cold afternoon. We used to play cards here once a week as well, but there are too few adventurers in Spielberg anymore. They all died from the monsters or brigands who just got too old. Well, that's about adventurers. Did I ever tell you about the time when Schultz and I did this Valley of Anthrops? Yeah, we were real adventurers and this was a real guild hall. Now we are just old men and this is just a place to tell old stories. Monsters. You can still see some of the type of monsters that live around here if you look on our walls. There are trolls, griffins, cheetahs, manthrays, and goblins wandering in the woods. I hear even some ogres and Saurus rexes back in this valley. There's a time when Schultz and I had gotten rid of most of the monsters around here, but we are too old for that now. Now ask about troll. Trolls are very tough. Fortunately, they only come out at night. The woods are very dangerous at night. Sauruses. The Saurus is a monster easy to avoid and easy to kill for the skilled adventurer. Ogres. Ogres are a lot like goons, but not even meaner. Not as bright, though. Goblins. Goblins are not tough, but when they gang up, they can take out an unwary adventurer. Cheetar. Cheetahs are ferocious creatures that charge out of nowhere and try to tear you to shreds. Sometimes they succeed. Mantrays. Those weird things are magical. They are best avoided. Saurus Rex. Don't mistake those things for Sauruses. When they come at you, it's sometimes best to just run away. Bulletin board. Over on the wall the jobs are posted for adventurers. Some have been there a long time now. There just aren't too many good adventurers around here lately. Reward. You need to talk about either the Baron or the healer about that. Healer. Our house is just north of the town gate. She's a nice woman. Castle. The castle is just north of the healer's house. And trophies. Schultz and I killed most of the monsters on the walls. The dragon. One day years ago, a pair of dragons tried to take over our valley. The adventurers rode out to meet them. I can still see Stefan von Spielberg charging forward on his black horse. He slew that dragon whose head you see on the wall, and the other flew off. I hear people see that dragon flying high overhead sometimes, but this never dared to attack us again. And there was a rumor for many years that you actually could encounter the dragon and fight it in this game, but not true. You will not encounter a dragon until the 5th game. Antwerp. This valley was overrun by those odd monsters one year. Schultz and I fought long and hard to rid the valley of the things. We might have failed even so had it not been for those two particular tourists who came to our aid. Peculiar tourists who came to our aid. Ask about the tourists. They said they were from someplace called Andromeda. Must be someplace south of here, I guess. They certainly were odd. Moose. That was the most nearly vicious moose I ever saw. Nearly bit my nose off. You know, a moose once bit my sister. No, really, she was carving her initials in the moose. Cheetar. Watch out for cheetahs. I bear the scars of my fight with the one at this wall to this day. Still, it is stuffed and I am alive. And Saurus. I remember when Hans killed the one there. It was a tough fight for him. And Hans Halfwitten. He wasn't much of an adventurer, but he did manage to kill a Saurus before he made the mistake of tangling with a troll. And you'll notice the music here is a slightly different instrumental of the Quest for Glory theme. And then ask about Schultz. Schultz, my assistant, and I have been friends for a long time. He too was once a real adventurer. Now he's just the sheriff of this town. Ask about Otto. I like Otto even if he is a goon. Schultz has him almost trained. And Spielberg. Spielberg town is small now that most of the people have been driven off by the brigands. This is such a pretty place, too, with the mountains, forests, and waterfalls. And we ask about the mountains. The mountains surrounding this valley are very high. Snow covers the tops all year round. The only way out of Spielberg Valley is through the pass, though I hear that it is blocked by snow again. The forests. The forests are full of monsters and strange creatures. There are some nice waterfalls to the southeast of town. They fill Mere Lake, which is lovely, but icy cold all year round. That's about the waterfalls. Yeah, got that already. This town used to be a thriving city before the brigands drove most of the people off. Ask about the magic shop. I don't know much about magic, but the woman who runs that place scares me. Dry goods. Caspar at the store would like to be an adventurer, so he says. He spends too much time dreaming and not enough doing, I think. The tavern. I have never liked that place. The bartender smiles all the time, but he is not very friendly. Crusher lives up to his name. He is nasty even for a goon. That's about goon. Got that. I think the bakery is almost always closed now. The baker tries to stay away from his wife. The butcher. I don't think the butcher shop is open much anymore either. The farmer's mart. The farmer's mart is run by the Centaurs, Hendrik Prifferden and his daughter Heidi. Wait, Heidi or Hildy? Centaur. There are not too many centaurs in this land. Hendrik and Hildy are good people. That covers the town. Asked him his name already. Asked him about Spielberg. Got that. Yeah, with the Baron losing his son and daughter, Baba Yaga, all the monsters, and now the brigands, it's just been one thing after another. Ask about the Baron. Baron von Spielberg was once a brave protector of our valley. We used to adventure together when I was younger. No brigand or monster would dare show his face around here if the Baron had not angered Baba Yaga. Now it is said that he goes nowhere and sees no one. Baron's son. Now that was a hero, and worthy of the name Bernard von Spielberg. He rode off to hunt one morning 5 years ago, and his horse returned with large claw marks on it. No sign Bernard's body was ever found. No sign of Bernard's body was ever found. The Baron's daughter. Elsa was a beautiful 8-year-old child with blonde hair and sky-blue eyes. She was her father, the Baron's joy. 10 years ago she was carried off by something which flew over the wall and away with her. The search for her lasted many years, but at last everyone gave up, except the Baron's jester, Yorick. Yorick was a funny little man, but brave. He swore he would spend his life searching for the Baron's Elsa. Baba Yaga. She is the center of our problems, I think. Baba Yaga is a powerful ogre. Baron von Spielberg tried to force her to leave his valley, but she cursed him. Now the Baron has lost everything but his land, and I don't know how long he will keep that. What our valley really needs is a hero. Ask about hero. A real hero is someone who didn't start out strong or powerful, but who uses his courage and brains and skills to become the best he can be. Hint, hint. And the brigands. There is a reward for anyone who can stop the brigands by capturing or killing the leaders of the brigands. You should read the bulletin board for more information, if you hadn't already. I think that covers everything here. Wait, one thing. I will do a quick save here. Doesn't work. Because you can use the lockpick to signal that you're a thief. In later games, you can to do the thief sign. You do a quick equipment check. Everything seems to be in place. And alternatively, you can try and pick your nose. You delicately insert the lockpick into your left nostril. The Surgeon General warns, unfortunately you push it in too far, causing yourself a cerebral hemorrhage. Guess you should have been practicing on less difficult locks. And yes, once your skill is high enough, you can actually pick your nose to improve your lockpicking skill. Of course, if you roll a failure, this happens. Well, on that note, I think we'll go ahead and close this chapter out, and next time, we will continue exploring Spielberg. See you next time.